The best stories are those where we find parts of ourselves. It could be a song, a dance form, painting, anything. A genuine storyteller is someone who helps you find yourself in their stories. Join me as I seek out these rare storytellers on Teachers Genuine Stories, Season 2. This is Teachers Genuine Stories Season 2, and I'm Rahul Bose. It feels good to be back, and even better to be able to bring you rare and inspiring storytellers from across art forms. This season, we bring you artists who reinforce why you need to follow your calling, whatever it may be, and that it is never too late to change course once you find it. My storyteller today is one of India's best-known stand-up comedians. But he only took to it in his mid-40s. Atul Khatri first discovered what stand-up comedy was in 1984 when he watched American star Eddie Murphy do it. And then it took him another 3 decades before he could seriously consider doing it himself. He chucked up his business and plunged into the nascent stand-up comedy scene in India in 2012. It was quite a risk and is quite a story. One I want to hear from Atul himself. So, I have my punchlines ready.
For 25 years of my life, I followed my head and did all the right things. Went to work, worked on expanding my business, paid the bills, raised my kids, and served my wife. But one fine day, I decided to follow my heart instead and let it decide where I should go next. At 44, I started to move away from my business, from the familiar, from the routine. My friends questioned me, who does this? Are you sure you're not joking? I said, funny you ask, because that's exactly what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, joking. Hi, I'm Atul Khatri, and I'm a comedian.
Hello.
Hey, hi Rahul,
How are you doing? Let's do
fine. Namaste.
Okay, let's do a namaste.
Namaste.
So, remember the first time we met was on a plane.
Calcutta, Bombay.
I remember that was the time you were telling me how at that age when you decided to sort of take this, literally a leap into the unknown, were you always the funny person in the room or in the office, or were you in fact a late bloomer?
You know, I was running a fairly successful IT company, and I was getting burnt because we were into the service of servers and very high-end networking equipment. So actually, it was genuinely like it was like a 24/7 kind of an operation. I was thinking myself, how will this thing end? So this was in 2012 when this sort of journeys. But from 2010, I was one of the early adopters of social media, mainly Facebook, because that was the first time a platform came where you could post a status and you could get instant gratification from your friends, your family, who are a part of your network. So I used to put up these very funny posts. I still do it now. And I remember 2-3 friends asking me very clearly, hey, why don't you try your hand in stand-up comedy? I said, chalo, let's do it. So actually it was a New Year resolution, 1st Jan 2012. So I started from there. And so I said, let me sign up for an open mic. I wrote a set which I felt was funny.
Right.
My hands were shaking, my throat became dry, I felt there was no flow underneath me. But fortunately, I had 1 month, I had rehearsed my set, properly. So in spite of all those, I went and delivered it, and I did very well.
The really affecting pieces of stand-up comedy have nuggets of truth in it that are very genuine. It's a very sacred, genuine moment. Could you tell us those sacred, genuine moments which have led you to be here today?
See, first of all, let me tell you one thing, mainly, I'm sure you understand, but for the audience, we call something as the fourth wall. Audience is your fourth wall. And the audience is the most intelligent wall. They can immediately know whether you're lying or whether you're telling the truth. So always telling the truth on stage is always the best. So for example, I mean, just to put it in context, is that if I go on stage, hey guys, last night I'd gone for a party, I met these two young women, we partied the whole night and all. You know, it's got to say, yeah, the guy's a Buddha, yeah, come on, yeah, you know, tell the truth. And if I say, hey guys, I met these two women, and they came out to say, hey uncle, we're your daughter's friends, and can you remove a selfie? And that's more truth, and that's actually the truth, and that's more funny.
Right.
So you have to be absolutely, the audience can see whether you're lying or, you know, whether you're telling the truth. That part of it.
I'm going to ask the flip question. Have you ever bombed?
First of all, bombing is a part of it. You grow as a comedian. You know, the more you bomb, the more you grow. But I remember, like, once I did we used to do a show at the Comedy Club in Bombay. We used to do a show at, like, it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I remember Friday I killed. Saturday I destroyed the place. Sunday I went in all Gango ke I've killed 2 nights. And I'm telling you, within the first 3 minutes, I just lost the audience. It's the same material I'm doing.
What do you do at that time, Atul?
There are a lot of tricks you can do. You can stop your material, get into crowd work. But at that time, I think I was not too prepared to do that. You know, I got so unnerved by the situation.
When you look back on any of these bombing incidents, is there stuff that you learned from it?
100%. So that night when I bombed, as a process of my own healing, I went and put it up on social media. And the kind of, just to make me feel good, all my fans, followers, hey, don't worry, it happens. Comedians wrote, this is a part of the process. So that was one part, because I think that was very important for us to tell that you can bomb also, and it's just not only glory.
Obvious question. How do you arrive at a joke?
So it starts actually with a thought or one observation, which you make. Let me give you an example. We travel. I always feel that we Indians, we are late everywhere. We'll be late for our own funeral. But when it comes to international travel, we are the most punctual race on earth, 12 o'clock flight, 8 o'clock, all of us sitting at the airport.
So that's your observation.
That's your observation.
Atul Khatri makes an observation that we are late everywhere except on international flights.
Yeah, the airlines love us
right.
for that. Yeah.
So next step?
So what I usually do is, I take most of the jokes on myself rather than, making it on you so that you get offended.
That's clever.
So I bring it on yourself.
Nice.
Then I talk about this, make this joke. Then I'll say, okay, let me suppose it. Then I'll use a line like, so whenever I travel, my wife never asks me where we are going, which is the airline, what is the layover. Her first question is, how much luggage are we allowed?
So now you're adding layers to the travel joke.
To the joke, yeah.
Understood. And then when you actually are ready with idea of what it started with, now it's a joke, a full-fledged joke, do you try it on somebody or you just go straight into...
So ideally at first, I'll try with my wife, my children. Then I have to go to an open mic or a comedy show or within my regular set, which I'm performing along 1 hour. In between that, I'll try this 5 minutes. Because if the joke doesn't work, you always have the crux of going back to your tested jokes and go back to that. But it's very important for a comedian to first get the jokes out of his system for the first time,
How long typically would you think it takes for a joke to reach its final avatar?
It could take 4, 5, 6 months. Wow. Yes, because what happens, sometimes I'm performing and you're a comedian, you'll say, hey Atul, I need to try this also, which you have probably missed out. That's how complicated and difficult the writing, and in my opinion, that's the most difficult part about stand-up comedy is writing new jokes.
Okay, so what do you have for us today?
Let's go on stage.
Okay, let's do it.
Thank you so much for coming to the Teachers Genuine Stories. My name is Atul Khatri and I am 52 years old. Usually I get a clap over. Tali bajao, please. Because at the age of 52, I'm India's oldest English stand-up comedian. In fact, I'm so old, or rather some of these people in our comedy line are so young, all in their mid-20s, early 20s, that whenever I perform with them backstage, they get confused. Should we call him dude or should we call him dad? And honestly, doing stand-up comedy at this age is very tough. It's very tough. No, it's not the talking part. As we guys get older, we can speak for hours. It's the standing part which is a problem. But yeah, man, I've got 2 daughters. My elder daughter is 23. My younger daughter is 21. My wife's in her mid-40s, trying to get into her 20s. And here I am, 52, looking like I'm in my 70s. And this white hair is not because of less melanin, it is because of more expenses. I'm not joking. Every day in the morning, me and my wife at 8:15, we open our ATM counter in our bedroom. And every 2 minutes, a child walks in, withdraws money and walks out. Yeah, I caught my elder daughter selling a 500 rupee note to my younger daughter at 600 rupees, As a Sindhi, I was very proud of it. But also very upset. I said, beta, 550 में मैं ही तेरे को बेच देता. उससे 600 रुपये लेने की क्या जरूरत थी? Yeah, man, I'm a very proud Sindhi. I'm a member of this Gymkhana in Bombay. See, most of the Gymkhanas in India were set up by the British. But this Gymkhana has been set up for the Sindhis, by the Sindhis, of the Sindhis. I love going to that place. Wherever you go there, you see your own Sindhi people. So let me tell you how it started long, long time ago. See, I'm so old, I have to use the word long also twice. Long, long time ago, we were 13 of us children. We went to this Gymkhana and we ordered our own individual sweet corn chicken soup. The waiter took an order, went to the head of the table to that wicked Sindhi aunt. She said, "Tum pagal ho gaya, bachcha log itna soup piyega? Ek kaam karo, cancel all this, make it 3 by 13. Even now, sometimes on work, I go alone. I always order my soup 1 by 2, even if I'm eating alone. Because when you order soup 1 by 2, you don't get 1, you get 1.2, 1.25, makes a difference to all you guys. Thank you, friends. This is Atul Khatri. You've been an amazing audience. Please give a round of applause to yourself for coming for this show. Thank you so much.
We don't take humor seriously. We think it doesn't have the gravitas of more serious philosophy. But it is in the moments that we laugh and let ourselves go that we find our most genuine, true selves. Till next time then, join me as we find more such rare stories that move something within us. Only on Teachers Genuine Stories, Season 2. Have you ever bombed?
You grow as a comedian, the more you bomb, the more you grow. So that night when I bombed, as a process of my own healing, I went and put it up on social media. And the kind of, just to make me feel good, all my fans, followers, hey, don't worry, it happens. Because, I think that was very important for us to tell that you can bomb also. And it's just not only glory.